The story follows Haruka, a hardworking but cynical office worker who wakes up as a lowly maid in a high-stakes Japanese noir romance novel. She is assigned to the personal quarters of Renzo Sato, a cold, wheelchair-bound CEO and Yakuza heir known for his ruthless silence. Haruka's survival seems impossible until she discovers she can hear Renzo's internal monologue. To the world, Renzo is a terrifying shadow. To Haruka, he is a man constantly screaming in his head about his leg cramps, his hatred for kale smoothies, and his secret obsession with fluffy cats. As the system forces Haruka to play the role of a tragic martyr, she decides to use her mind reading to rewrite the script, turning a dark tragedy into a chaotic comedy of errors that leads them both to a life they actually want to live. The first thought. I used to think my boss back in Tokyo was a demon. He'd make me stay until 10 p.m. just to fix a single spreadsheet. But after dying from a literal caffeine overdose and waking up in the world of the Silent Dragon's ransom, I realized I didn't know the meaning of the word demon. Imagine this, a massive, dark Japanese estate. The rain is absolutely pouring outside. I'm in a traditional maid uniform, kneeling on a cold floor, my knees aching. In front of me sits Renzo Sato, the cold CEO, the silent Yakuza heir. In the original book, he's a heartless monster who doesn't speak a single word until the female lead melts his heart in chapter 50. But me? I'm just Haruka, the disposable maid who is scheduled to be executed in chapter 3 for being too loud. The head butler looms over me, his voice deep and terrifying. Haruka, you were told the master requires absolute silence. You dropped the spoon. That's a breach of contract. Do you know what happens to people who break contracts in this house? I'm dead. I'm totally dead. He's going to feed me to those giant koi fish in the garden. I can see it in Renzo's eyes. He's staring at me with this icy, murderous intensity. He's probably thinking about the most efficient way to hide my body right now. But then, something weird happens. A sharp ringing sound, like a radio frequency, pierces my brain. And then, I hear it. It's itching. It's itching so bad. Wait. What? My left sock is bunched up at the toe and I can't reach it because these bodyguards are watching me. If I move, I'll look weak. But if I don't move, I'm going to scream. And why is it so cold in here? Is the heater broken? I pay 3 million yen a month for maintenance and my toes are literally turning into icicles. I froze. I wasn't hearing the voice of a cold-blooded killer. I was hearing a man having a mental breakdown over a bunched-up sock. The butler snaps at me, "Are you deaf, girl? I asked you a question." Renzo's voice comes back, louder this time. Why is the butler yelling? It's making my headache worse. I didn't even eat breakfast because the chef made that healthy kale slime again. I just want a chocolate croissant. Is that too much to ask? A single, flaky, buttery croissant. Without thinking, I blurted it out. "Master, I'll go get the heater and a pair of seamless cotton socks right away. Also, I'll check the kitchen for croissants." The entire room goes silent. The bodyguards reach for their jackets. The butler looks like he's about to have a stroke. Talking to the master without permission is a death sentence. I closed my eyes, waiting for the end. But then... Wait. Did she just say, seamless socks? And croissants? Is she a psychic? Is she an angel sent from the great bakery in the sky? Don't let the guy see you smile, Renzo. Keep the mask on. Stay cold. Renzo doesn't say a word. He just slowly raises a hand and gives a single, stiff nod. The butler is stunned. The master approves? You're lucky, girl. Go. If you aren't back in 5 minutes, don't bother coming back at all. I scrambled out of that room so fast I nearly tripped over my own kimono. I survived. But as I ran toward the kitchen, a blue screen flickered in front of my eyes. A digital voice whispered, "Warning, plot deviation detected. You have gained 50 favorability points." However, the scripted heroine arrives in 48 hours. If you interfere with the main story again, a penalty will be applied. A penalty? I just saved his toes from frostbite. I realized then that this wasn't just a game of survival. It was a war against the story itself. And if I wanted to keep my head, I'd have to become the best mind-reading maid this mafia world had ever seen. Things are just getting started, and the drama is only going to get crazier from here. Will Haruka manage to find a croissant in a Yakuza stronghold, or will the system delete her first? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. Drop a comment below. If you could hear your boss's thoughts, would you stay or run for your lift? The translation. I didn't just find a croissant, I found a war zone. The kitchen staff looked at me like I was a ghost asking for a snack. Apparently, in this house, the master only eats food that looks like it was harvested from a medicinal forest. But I had 5 minutes, a terrifying system warning in my ear, and a CEO upstairs who was mentally weeping for carbs. I managed to bribe a junior chef with my emergency stash of imported candy, and 3 minutes later, I was sprinting back. I burst into the master suite with a portable heater in one hand, a plate of golden pastries in the other, and a pair of high-quality cotton socks tucked into my apron. Renzo was still sitting there, looking like a statue of a vengeful god. The butler was mid-sentence, probably explaining the different ways he was going to fire me. But the moment I set that heater down and the smell of butter hit the air, Renzo's internal monologue went into overdrive. Is that the butter? Oh, sweet heavens, it is. And she actually found the socks. She didn't just listen, she understood. Is this what it feels like to have a soulmate? No, Renzo, stop. She's just a maid. A very, very observant maid who clearly knows my exact sock preferences. Which is, actually a little creepy, but I'll allow it. I knelt down, ignoring the butler's furious glare, and swapped his bunched-up wool for the seamless cotton. Master, I whispered. The heater is set to your preferred 24 degrees Celsius. And the kitchen had a sudden delivery of croissants. Renzo took a bite. His face remained like stone, but in my head, he was singing. Yes. This is it. The crunch. The flake. I could conquer the entire underworld right now just fueled by this pastry. I should give her a raise. No, I should give her a medal. But my victory was short-lived. That blue screen flickered again, turning a deep, angry red. Error. Favorability is rising too fast. You are overshadowing the heroine's first mission, the healing meal. If Renzo is full, the heroine scene will fail. Penalty stage 1, the cold shoulder. Suddenly, the warm vibe in the room vanished. Renzo's eyes, which had softened for a split second, turned back into ice. He shoved the plate away, nearly knocking it off the table. Wait, why did I do that? Renzo's inner voice sounded just as confused as I was. My hand moved on its own. I want the bread. Why can't I pick up the bread? My body feels like it's being controlled by a puppet master. Haruka, don't look at me like that. I still want the croissant. The butler smirked. It seems the master is displeased with your unhealthy additions. Guards, take her to the storage room. She needs to reflect on the Sato family rules for the next 12 hours. Wait, the storage room? In chapter 4 of the book, that's where the first assassination attempt happens. If I'm locked in there, I'm not just reflecting, I'm a sitting duck. I looked at Renzo, pleading with my eyes. Do something. Use your boss powers. I'm trying, he screamed internally. But my mouth won't open. Why is this script so heavy? Haruka, run. Don't go to the storage room, there's a loose floorboard in the corner where the assassins hide. Wait, how do I know that? Why am I thinking about assassins? As the guards grabbed my arms, I realized the system wasn't just a guide, it was a jailer. It didn't want a happy CEO, it wanted a tragic one. And it was willing to kill me to make sure the story stayed miserable. Will Haruka survive a night in the deadly storage room, or is Chapter 2 where her story ends for good? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. Seriously, hit that like button if you think the system is being a total hater. Get ready, because Chapter 3 is about to get dark. See you in the next one. Under the Bed, Noir Edition. Being dragged toward the storage room felt like a scene out of a horror movie. The guards didn't even look at me, they just gripped my arms like I was a sack of flour. Behind me, I could still hear Renzo's internal voice fading as we moved down the long, mahogany hallway. Haruka. Stop. I'm the boss, right? Why can't I just tell them to let her go? My vocal cords feel like they're made of lead. This isn't right, something is forcing me to be this monster. The heavy iron door of the storage room creaked open, and I was tossed inside. Thud. The lock turned with a finality that made my stomach drop. It was pitch black, smelling of old tatami mats and floor wax. I scrambled to the corner Renzo had mentioned in his thoughts, the one with the loose floorboard. If the script said an assassin was coming, the script was usually right. System. I hissed into the darkness. You're really going to let me die just to protect a plot point? I've got 50 favorability points. Spend them. Do something. The blue screen flickered, but it looked glitchy, like a corrupted video file. Request denied. The heroine, Emmy, must be the one to save the master from the upcoming raid. Your presence in the master's suite interferes with her fated meeting. Survival probability, 12%. 12%? Those aren't odds, that's a funeral notice. Suddenly, the silence was broken. Not by a guard, but by the soft click-clack of footsteps on the roof. My heart hammered against my ribs. It was happening. The night of the Shadow chapter. In the book, 3 assassins infiltrate through the storage room vents to get to Renzo's quarters. I felt around the floor until my fingers caught on a splintered edge. The loose floorboard. I pried it up, hoping for a weapon, but all I found was an old, rusted letter opener and a hidden stash of cat treats. Wait, I whispered, Renzo's secret cat obsession? Above me, the vent cover rattled and fell. A masked figure dropped into the room, silent as a ghost. He didn't see me in the corner yet, but he was blocking the only door. He pulled out a silenced pistol, checking the chamber. I had 2 choices, stay quiet and hope he left, or intervene and risk the system's total deletion penalty. But then I remembered Renzo's voice, the way he sounded so lonely and trapped in his own body. If I let this assassin go, Renzo wouldn't be saved by the heroine. He'd be traumatized, and the system would use that trauma to keep him cold and miserable for another 50 chapters. I gripped the rusted letter opener. Hey, system, I thought, watch me break your little play. I didn't attack the assassin. Instead, I threw the heavy bag of cat treats toward the far metal shelf. Clang! The assassin spun around, aiming his gun at the noise. At that exact second, I lunged, not at him, but at the heavy storage rack behind him. I kicked the support beam with everything I had. The entire shelf, loaded with heavy crates of ceremonial sake, came crashing down like a tidal wave. Scene shift, Renzo's quarters. Renzo was sitting in the dark, staring at the croissant he wasn't allowed to eat. Suddenly, his head snapped up. Through the mind link, I felt a massive jolt of adrenaline. What was that? The storage room? Haruka. For the first time in the entire story, Renzo's internal voice and his physical body synced up. He didn't wait for the butler. He didn't wait for the guards. He gripped the wheels of his chair and spun himself toward the door, his face twisted in a mask of pure, unscripted rage. If anything happens to the only person who knows I like seamless socks, I will burn this entire script to the ground. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. We're only 10 minutes into the story and the master is already breaking character. Can Renzo reach the storage room before the other assassins arrive? And what kind of penalty is the system going to slap on Haruka for causing this much chaos? Drop a comment with Team Haruka if you want to see her take down the system. See you in Chapter 4. The Fake Fiancé. The dust hadn't even settled from the falling shells before the storage room door was kicked open, not by a guard, but by Renzo himself. He was breathing hard, his knuckles white from forcing his wheelchair through the narrow hallway at top speed. The scene was a mess. One assassin was pinned under a crate of sake, unconscious, and I was standing there holding a rusted letter opener like a crazed forest spirit. "Master," the butler shouted, arriving breathless behind him. "What are you doing? It's dangerous. This girl, she's caused a disaster." Renzo didn't look at the butler. He looked at me. His eyes were scanning me for injuries, and for the first time, his internal monologue wasn't just a noisy mess, it was a roar. "She's alive. She's actually alive. She fought off an assassin with, is that a letter opener? My God, she's more dangerous than my entire security team. Look at her standing there, covered in dust, looking like she just conquered a kingdom. Why is my heart beating so fast? Is it the adrenaline? Or is it because she's the only one who didn't run away?" But then, the air in the room turned freezing. The blue screen in front of my eyes started to crack and bleed red pixels. System voice, critical error. The master has moved to save the NPC. This action has completely bypassed the heroine's entrance. Emmy is currently standing in the garden with a healing soup and no one to give it to, penalizing the anomaly. Now, suddenly, a sharp, electric pain shot through my chest. I gasped, falling to my knees. It felt like my very existence was being pulled through a straw. "Haruka?" Renzo's internal voice was terrified. "What's happening? Why is she turning pale? Why can I feel her pain? Wait, can she hear me? Haruka, if you can hear me, don't you dare close your eyes." I looked up at him, my vision blurring. I had to say something. If I didn't prove I was useful, the system would delete me as a broken variable. "Master," I wheezed, pointing to the vent. "There are 2 more. Coming through the library." The butler scoffed. "She's hallucinating from the shock. There are no." "Shut up." Renzo's internal voice screamed, and surprisingly, he slammed his hand down on his wheelchair armrest so hard it cracked. He pointed toward the library and then at the guards. He didn't need words, his killing intent was so strong the guards scrambled instantly. Minutes later, muffled gunshots echoed from the library. 2 more masked men were dragged out. I had been right. I had saved his life, again. System voice, calculating. Plot integrity at 40%. Favorability at 150. Warning, you are no longer an NPC. You have been promoted to primary obstacle. New objective, survive the heroine's arrival in 24 hours. The guards lifted me up, but this time, they didn't grab me roughly. They looked at me with a weird kind of respect. Renzo reached out, his fingers brushing my dusty sleeve for just a second. "She stays," he thought, his voice deep and determined. "She isn't going to the storage room. She's staying in the room next to mine. If the system, whatever that voice she's fighting is, wants her, it'll have to go through me first. Also, I still really want that chocolate croissant from earlier." I couldn't help it. Even through the pain, I let out a tiny laugh. Scene end. The stakes are officially through the roof. Haruka is now the primary obstacle in her own story, and the heroine is about to arrive with a vengeance. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. Will Haruka and Renzo's secret mind link be enough to stop the scripted heroine, or is the system about to drop a nuclear-level penalty? Let me know in the comments, are you Team Haruka or do you think Renzo should follow the script? The system's penalty. The next morning, the Sato estate felt different. The servants were whispering as I walked by, and for the first time, I wasn't being ordered to scrub the floors. I had been moved to a suite that was way too nice for a maid, right next to Renzo's private study. But I couldn't relax. My eyes were glued to the digital countdown floating in the air, 2 hours 14 minutes and 59 seconds until heroine arrival. I entered Renzo's study to find him staring at a stack of ledgers. On the outside, he was the picture of Yakuza stoicism. But the second I stepped into the room, his internal monologue hit me like a wave of frantic jazz. She's here. Is my hair okay? I should have worn the blue tie. No, the blue tie makes me look like I'm trying too hard. Why am I worried about a tie? I'm a mafia boss. I should be thinking about the docks and the smuggling routes, but all I can think about is if she liked the silk pillows I ordered for her room. Did she notice they're the high thread count ones? I bet she did. She notices everything. I cleared my throat. Master, your morning tea. I've ensured it is exactly 175 degrees Celsius. Renzo gave a stiff nod, but internally, 175 degrees. She's a miracle worker. I want to tell her thank you, but my throat feels like it's full of dry sand. System, or whatever you are, let me say one word. Just one. Suddenly, the front gates of the estate swung open with a loud chime. The countdown hit 0. System voice, the heroine, Emmy, has entered the stage. Scene 12, the sprained ankle. Haruka, as the primary obstacle, you are required to play the role of the vicious maid. If you fail to trigger the master's pity for Emmy, you will face the heart-stop penalty. Through the window, I saw her. Emmy. She looked like she stepped out of a shampoo commercial, long flowing hair, a white sundress, and an aura of pure innocence. As she walked toward the main entrance, she tripped on a perfectly flat stone and let out a melodious cry of pain. EMI, in a high, sweet voice. Oh, my ankle. Is anyone there? Help! Renzo looked toward the window. I felt his internal panic rising. Who is that screaming in the garden? It's so loud. Is it another assassin? It sounds like a wounded seagull. I should call the guards. Wait, why is my body moving? Why am I suddenly feeling this weird urge to go outside and carry her? I don't even know her. I don't like people. I especially don't like people who trip on flat ground. Renzo's wheelchair began moving toward the door, seemingly on its own. The system was literally puppeteering his motor functions. I had to act. If Renzo picked her up, the fated romance would lock into place, and I'd be relegated back to a disposable NPC, or worse. Master, wait! I shouted. I grabbed the back of his wheelchair, digging my heels into the carpet. Your tea. It's a special medicinal blend. If you don't drink it in the next 30 seconds, the healing properties will turn into a mild stomach irritant. Renzo's chair stopped. The system was fighting me. The blue screen in front of my eyes was flashing red, warning. Interfering with fated encounter. Haruka, hold on. Renzo's mind was screaming. I don't want to go out there. This woman smells like overwhelming lilies and fake tears. Keep holding the chair. I'll try to lock the wheels. I saw Emmy through the door, looking up expectantly, waiting for her dark prince to come to the rescue. But instead, she saw a maid playing tug-of-war with a wheelchair while the CEO gripped the armrests like his life depended on it. EMI, excuse me? I'm hurt. Mr. Sato, please. System voice, penalty stage 2 initiated, voice loss. Suddenly, I couldn't speak. My throat tightened until I couldn't even squeak. The system was forcing me out of the conversation. But it forgot one thing. I didn't need to speak to communicate with Renzo. I looked Renzo directly in the eyes and thought with everything I had, Renzo, if you go out there, she's going to move in. She's a spy. She's the one who sent the assassins. Renzo froze. Wait, did I just hear her? Haruka? Is that you in my head? The connection sparked. For a second, the red screen turned gold. She's a spy? Renzo's internal voice turned cold as ice. I knew she smelled like trouble. System, back off. I'm the boss here. With a massive surge of will, Renzo didn't go to Emmy. He reached back, grabbed my hand, and pulled me toward him. He looked out at the heroine shivering on the ground and did something the book never allowed. He spoke. "Renzo, butler. Give this woman a bandage and a taxi fare. She's trespassing." Scene in. The heroine just got rejected on her first day. But the system is definitely not going to take this lying down. Haruka is playing a dangerous game, and now Renzo knows she can hear him. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. We're reaching the halfway point of the story, and the vicious maid is officially winning. What do you think Emmy will do next? Tell me in the comments, are you glad Renzo finally spoke? The poison gift. The atmosphere in the room was so thick you could cut it with a Yakuza blade. Renzo's voice, the actual, physical sound of it, had sent a shockwave through the estate. The butler's jaw was practically on the floor, and Emmy, the heroine, looked like she'd been slapped with a cold fish. But while the outside world was silent, my head was a mosh pit of digital alarms and Renzo's chaotic triumph. I did it. I actually said it. Did you hear me, Haruka? I sounded so cool. Like a movie star. But wait, why is she holding her throat? And why is that red screen around her getting thicker? System, if you hurt her, I swear I'll find your motherboard and fry it. System voice, Protocol 7 be engaged. If the heroine is rejected, this tragic hero arc must be forced through external trauma. Event, the poisoned banquet. Time to arrival, 4 hours. The electric pain in my throat vanished as the system shifted its tactics. It had realized that bullying me directly wasn't working, so it was going to attack Renzo's pride. The next few hours were a blur of high-stakes preparation. The Sato family was hosting a dinner for the regional Yakuza elders, a scene that was originally supposed to be Emi's big break where she saves Renzo from a tainted drink. I was back in the kitchen, but this time, the system was puppeteering my hands. I watched in horror as my own fingers reached for a small vial of clear liquid, poison, and began to drip it into Renzo's favorite wine. Stop. System, don't. I screamed in my mind. System voice, the script requires the master to be weakened so the heroine can nurse him back to health. You will play the assassin, Haruka. This is your final chance to be a useful NPC. I walked into the banquet hall, my body moving like a stiff doll. Renzo was at the head of the table, looking bored. The elders were droning on about territory, and Emmy was there too, dressed in a stunning kimono, waiting for her moment to detect the poison. I approached Renzo with the tray. My hand was shaking, fighting the system's control. Renzo! Don't drink it! I projected my thoughts with enough force to give myself a nosebleed. The system is making me do this. The wine is a trap. Renzo's eyes snapped to mine. He saw the sweat on my brow and the way my arm was twitching. Haruka, you're the one serving it? No. I see it now. Your hands are moving like they're on strings. You're not doing this. That invisible monster is. As I lowered the glass toward him, Renzo did something insane. Instead of refusing the drink, he reached out and grabbed my wrist. He didn't take the glass. He took the entire bottle and dumped it directly into a nearby decorative flower vase. The elders gasped. The butler stepped forward, outraged. Master! That was a vintage. Renzo, internal vintage poison, more like it. I'm not letting Haruka take the blame for this. If I have to act like a crazy, temperamental boss to save her, then let's go. Renzo suddenly stood up from his wheelchair, stumbling, using the table for support, and swept all the glasses off the table in one massive crash. Renzo, allowed the wine is trash. This entire banquet is an insult. Everyone out. Now. The room cleared in seconds. Nobody argues with a Yakuza boss having a breakdown. Emmy was left standing there, her healing heroine moment completely bypassed for the third time today. As the doors slammed shut, Renzo collapsed back into his chair, breathing hard. The system screen in front of me was screaming, plot integrity at 15%. Total system collapse imminent. Haruka, Renzo thought, his voice sounding exhausted but warm. I think we just broke the world. My legs, they actually feel like they're tingling. Is that a glitch, or is the story finally letting me heal for real? I knelt beside him, finally back in control of my own body. We're not safe yet, Renzo. The system is going to try something desperate. It doesn't like losing. We are heading into the final stretch, and the system is about to go nuclear. Can a mind-reading maid and a glitched CEO actually survive the end of their own world? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. We're nearing the 20-minute mark, and the biggest twist is still to come. What do you think happens when a book world runs out of plot? Let me know in the comments. The basement reveal. The estate was eerily quiet. The system had stopped giving me prompts. No countdowns, no warnings, just a heavy, digital static that made the air feel like it was buzzing. Renzo, I whispered as I pushed his chair through the service tunnels. The original book mentions a hidden archive beneath the basement. If the system has a physical core in this world, that's where it'll be. I've lived here my whole life and never knew about a basement beneath the basement, Renzo thought. But then again, until 2 days ago, I didn't know I was a character in a tragedy. Lead the way, Haruka. I've got your back, and a concealed 9mm, just in case the system has bodyguards. We found the entrance behind a false wall in the storage room, the same place I'd fought the assassin. We descended a steep ramp into a room that looked less like a cellar and more like a server farm. Glowing blue cables ran along the walls like veins, all leading to a central pillar of light. And standing in front of that pillar was Emmy. But she didn't look like a heroine anymore. Her eyes were glowing with a cold, blue light, and her voice was a distorted mix of a human girl and a machine. EMI/system, the Haruka anomaly must be neutralized. You have stolen the master's trauma. You have stolen his silence. You have turned a masterpiece of suffering into a farce. A farce? Renzo's internal voice was a snarl. You kept me in a chair and made me a mute for art? You made me lonely for 50 chapters for character development? You're not a storyteller, you're a parasite. Renzo didn't wait. He pulled his gun and fired. The bullets hit an invisible shield around Emmy, sparking like short circuits. EMI/system, violence is part of the script. But you cannot kill the plot. If the Haruka anomaly stays, this world will be deleted. Renzo Sato, do you wish to exist in a void? Or will you execute the maid and return to your glory? Renzo looked at me. I could see the reflection of the blue light in his eyes. This was the moment. The final choice. Renzo, I said, my voice trembling. If you kill me, the world stays. You'll be the powerful CEO again. You'll have the money, the status, you just won't have the croissants. Or me. Renzo was silent. Even his internal monologue went quiet for a heartbeat. Then, I heard it. A single, clear thought that wasn't a scream or a complaint. I've spent my whole life being told what to do by the family or the script. I'd rather be a ghost with you than a king in a cage. Renzo didn't aim at Emmy. He aimed at the glowing blue cables on the floor. Renzo, aloud, I'm unsubscribing from this story. Bang. 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 The cables hissed and exploded in a shower of sparks. The entire room began to shake. The blue light turned into a blinding white. System voice, failing critical. System. Failure. Deleting. World. Assets. I felt my body starting to dissolve into pixels. I reached out, grabbing Renzo's hand. See you on the other side? I yelled over the roaring sound of the world tearing apart. Renzo pulled me into a hug, his internal voice the last thing I heard, I hope the other side has better breakfast options. The world just ended. But is this the finale? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more. We are at the 25-minute mark, and you won't believe where Haruka wakes up. Is it back to her 14-hour office job or somewhere much, much better? Stay tuned for the final chapters. The real world and the final choice. I woke up to the sound of a heart monitor. My eyes cracked open to see a boring, white hospital ceiling. Patient 402 is awake, a nurse called out. She's been in a coma for 3 weeks, severe exhaustion and caffeine toxicity. I sat up, my head spinning. Was it all a dream? The Yakuza, the mind reading, the croissants. Renzo? I looked at my hands. No pixels. No maid uniform. Just a hospital gown and a crushing sense of loneliness. I had my life back, but it felt empty. I was discharged a week later. I went back to my tiny apartment in Tokyo, staring at my laptop. I had no system gold. I was just a girl with a mountain of medical bills. I walked down to a small neighborhood park to clear my head. I sat on a bench, watching the sunset, when a sleek black car, the kind that looked way too expensive for this neighborhood, pulled up to the curb. My heart stopped. A man in a sharp suit got out. He wasn't in a wheelchair. He walked with a slight limp, leaning on a silver-headed cane. He looked like Renzo, but his hair was a bit messier, and he looked human. He sat down on the bench next to me. He didn't say a word. He just stared at the pond. I held my breath. Please. Please let it be him. I closed my eyes and focused. I tried to reach out with that old glitch in my brain. At first, there was nothing but the sound of traffic. And then, this bench is incredibly uncomfortable. Why is it made of wood? I should buy this park and install ergonomic seating. And I'm starving. I haven't had a decent croissant since the world exploded. I hope she's not mad that I took so long to find her. Tokyo is huge. And I had to figure out how to use an ATM. That thing is a death trap. A tear rolled down my face. I didn't even look at him. I just whispered, the bakery around the corner has chocolate ones. They're 175 degrees if you get them fresh. The man froze. He slowly turned his head, a smirk tugging at the corner of his mouth. Renzo, aloud, I prefer them with a side of seamless socks, Haruka. I laughed, throwing my arms around him. The system was gone. There were no prompts, no favorability points, and no scripted tragedies. Renzo, internal, she's hugging me. My heart is doing that weird thing again. But this time, it's not a glitch. It's definitely not a glitch. And just like that, the vicious maid and the cold boss found their happy ending in the most dangerous place of all, the real world. Thanks for watching the full 30-minute journey. We made it to the end together. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and follow for more stories where the characters take control. If you enjoyed Haruka and Renzo's story, check out our other videos on the screen now. See you in the next rebirth.